Welcome to the Effortless English Show with the world's #1 English teacher, AJ Hogue, where AJ's more than 40 million students worldwide finally learn English once and for all, without the boring textbooks, classrooms, and grammar drills. Here's AJ with a quick piece to help you learn to speak fluent English effortlessly.
I'm AJ Hogue, the author of Effortless English. Learn to speak English like a native. I train you, I teach you to speak English fluently, speak powerfully, speak confidently. You speak English effortlessly when you join, you commit to my VIP program at effortlessenglishclub.com, effortlessenglishclub.com. Go there, commit, don't quit. Today's topic, purpose, shared purpose. We've talked about purpose many times before, having a mission, having a purpose or purposes in your life. Important to have an individual mission, an individual purpose, or individual purposes in your life. Missions. I'll use the word missions in your life. It's important to have this. It gives your life a sense of meaning and importance. And we need ones that are individual, that are for us. But today I want to talk about also the additional importance of having shared missions in your life, or at least a shared mission, but preferably more than one. And that means a mission or missions that you share with other people. That's what we're going to talk about. Let's wait a minute while people join live. I'll give you a few updates, and then we'll talk about the topic. So just good to see everybody. Sorry about yesterday. I had a baby who would not go to sleep. So I've got to wait till babies go to sleep to do this show. And, oh my, one baby just was, crying and fussing and awake and just would not. It was kind of a long night. I did not get much sleep. Not much sleep last night. So anyway, my apologies. Here we are again today. So we'll talk about shared purpose. Now, another thing. I did reschedule the interview with Steve Kaufman. It's going to be the same time, but this week, okay? So again, 11 a.m. this Friday. Try again, 11 a.m. this Friday. I'll test everything out. Hopefully everything will be working. 11 a.m. this Friday. Steve Kaufman interview. Okay, I just want to say hi to everybody who's joining live. Good to see you. Let's get into our topic, and then I'll come and we'll do our normal questions and comments. Okay, so shared purpose and meaning. We've talked about before having this sense of purpose or meaning in your life, and this is important because otherwise your life kind of just feels, we say aimless in English, aimless, right? Aim means you're like a target. And okay, there's a certain amount of that can be beneficial. It's a very Taoist idea to flow with life, not to fight against life, not to fight against nature, not to fight against the natural law, not to fight against dharma. For sure, that's true. However, I think we all need a sense of meaning and purpose in our life. That might be natural law and dharma, and trying to be a more virtuous, good person in life, right? And then we might have more specific missions or, purpose or purposes in life, just connected to our strengths, connected to what is most important to us. That could be, of course, having a family. That could be building a business. It could be being a teacher, volunteering. It could be anything, really. Art, creating, and you might have more than one. But things that give you a sense, a feeling of meaning in your life. And what do I mean by meaning? By meaning, I mean things that make your life feel worthy and important and good. And we all need this, right? We've got to find this in ourselves, these sources, because it's a source of long-term happiness, this purpose and mission. It gives you long-term happiness. Again, we all know this is a thing we've talked about again and again and again. This difference between short-term pleasure and long-term happiness. And what we find again and again is that many things, not all, but many things that produce especially very strong, intense, strong short-term pleasure, often those things actually create long-term unhappiness, right? And we use obvious examples like drugs, like making lots of money, like really anything with your senses, any of your senses, meaning right, taste, touch, hearing, any kind of pleasures that are very intense can become addictive and then create long-term unhappiness. But then we have the other side of this, we could say the positive side of this is that we find that there are other things in life which maybe short-term, maybe right now, immediately they do not seem to create much pleasure. In fact, in the short term, when you first start, they can even be difficult. These things, these actions, these things in life can be tough, even somewhat painful. And yet they create for us long-term happiness that lasts a long time and gets deeper and better and deeper and better and better and better and better as time goes. And again, we can look at very obvious examples, something like health and fitness. Health and fitness is an obvious example. In the short term, fitness can be painful. You go for a run. Let's say you're really weak. You're in bad physical shape. You're not strong. You have no energy. And you go try to jog. You go for a nice little run. You're probably going to feel terrible. You probably will feel terrible. During the run, you'll feel bad. So in the immediate short term, you feel bad. You're breathing heavy. You're sweating. And maybe your legs are in pain, and your knees hurt, and your back hurts, your shoulder hurts, everything. And then even the next day, you feel probably even worse. You feel really tired the next day, and all your muscles are sore, and your joints hurt. So short term, it seems like it's a painful thing. It seems like, this is something bad, right? It's not pleasure, certainly not pleasure. It's pain and difficulty and discomfort. But we all know that when we continue doing that, if you keep running every day, guess what? Your body builds and gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Your energy will go up and up and up. Your muscles will change and adapt. Your joints will get stronger and adapt and get used to it. And so then after, let's say, 6 months, you're going to feel much better than you used to. Now, this thing that was painful and difficult in the beginning is now producing great happiness for you. You are overall healthier, meaning you have more energy, you are stronger, you can enjoy doing more active things in life. You can get out and walk and run and go hiking and take trips, and everything's better. And when you continue exercising, this will continue for years and years and years. And even as you get older and older and older, compared to other people your same age, you will be more energetic, happier, feeling better, right? So this is the kind of thing we're talking about. And purpose is like this. Having a purpose in your life. In the beginning, again, in the short term, it creates difficulties and challenges for you. Let's imagine one of your purposes, one mission you have in life is to create a business that helps your family, that helps you, that gives you more freedom, that maybe you have employees and you're helping give jobs to people, and you're helping your customers. And this is one of your missions in life. Well, guess what? In the short term, it's going to be tough. It's hard. It's hard to start a new business. You might have a lot of doubts, a lot of worry. There will be many, many problems. You might have some failures. You might even fail the first time you try. You try to start a business and you totally fail. And then you have to wait, and then you try another business. And then eventually, after lots and lots of extra work and learning a lot of new things and lots of challenges and difficulties, then hopefully you will succeed. And then that business gets stronger and stronger, and you get more and more happiness from it because you see you're helping your customers, you're making decent money, good money for yourself and your family, you have more freedom, more flexibility in your life. Everything's better, and this continues for years and years and years. So again, short-term difficulty, but long-term, this purpose, this challenge that you take, that you decide on, that you choose, actually brings much better long-term happiness. This is a point. I keep talking about this topic because I think this is one of the biggest traps of our modern world now. Most people are enslaved. How are they enslaved? They're enslaved with pleasure. Brave New World. Remember Brave New World. Pleasure is the way most people become slaves, meaning most people become unhappy. And what kind of pleasure? The short-term pleasures, right? Those really exciting short-term pleasures, right? The short-term pleasure of eating food that tastes really, really good and eating too much of it. It is nice. Like if you eat one cake today, there's really nothing bad that happens long-term, right? It just tastes really good. It's great. But the problem is you get used to it, you get addicted, and you start doing it more and more and more, and then you become unhealthy and miserable, and your quality of your life goes down a lot. And this is true in many ways. You know, the cell phones, that's another one, right? Smartphones, again, it's a short-term addiction. It's really fun. Oh yeah, of course the apps are fun. Of course they're convenient in the short term. But the problem is that long term, as people use them all the time, they're walking around all the time like a zombie staring at their phone constantly. What happens long term, they can't connect with other people. They're never listening to other people. They're always looking at their phone. They never notice anyone around them. They never really talk anymore. They're like living in this little world inside the phone. And this long term, it means relationships get worse. There's a less happiness long term. So this is what purpose is one of these things. It's the opposite. It will bring us longer term happiness. And there are kind of two kinds that we need. We need something that's individual, something that does not depend on others, right? We talked about that. I kind of mentioned it a little bit. We were talking about dating, that you need something that comes from deep inside you. So, you might have one of your highest purposes might be, your religion, the practice of dharma, of natural law, devotion to God, however you want to describe it. But that's one that's like deep inside of you and doesn't depend on anyone else. Just you and, your deity, your God. So that's a strong one because that one can help you through all of life, and it's very powerful, and it will bring, again, short term, it's hard. Short term, that demands that you become a better person. It's actually not easy. It actually will feel maybe sometimes quite painful and difficult. But over the long term, deeper and deeper and greater happiness. And again, you might have personal ones. Maybe it's something about a business. Maybe it's something just a hobby. Maybe it's just whatever makes you happy, right? And whatever seems important to you. But I think one thing we forget about is that we also need shared purpose, because without that, we feel lonely. And the best way, again, this is another problem we have in the modern world, is that our relationships are weak. Right? Marriages are being destroyed. Marriages are falling apart constantly. Friendships come and go. Kind of like Jerry Maguire, our movie we're seeing, right? He had all those fake friends, right? Because what kind of friends are they really? Okay, they're all working at the same place, but there's no deep connection between them. They share the same interests. They share the same, kind of hobbies. They all have a good time together and go out together. And so when everything's good, it seems Jerry has all those friends. Look at all those huge number of friends that came to his party, right? Like his engagement party, that giant party they had. And they're all saying, "Oh, love you, man, love you, man, love you, man." And oh, it just seems so great, right? But then we see the truth. We saw the truth yesterday or Sunday when he got fired. Where were all those friends? Nowhere. They all betrayed him instantly because of the job, because of money. None of them cared about him. Right? So we got to see, well, part of the problem is that there was no shared purpose there. They were all working together, but they're not really sharing a purpose. And a shared purpose can really be something powerful that brings people together. I think this is one reason family is so important and family is so powerful. Because when you think about it, when you get married and then you have a child, well, now that is a super important, probably the most important, the most powerful shared purpose. You and your spouse, husband or wife, now are sharing this. You have the same purpose, which is to protect the child, raise your child, teach your child, and for the rest of your life, help them and take care of them and be a leader for them. And that's something you're both doing together and that you will always do together as long as you're alive, as long as you're both alive. And if you do it in a good way, in a positive way, this can bring your relationship very, very, very strong, close, and make it much, 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 much stronger. Because now it's not just attraction. It's not just, oh yeah, she's pretty, and oh he's cool, or oh we like the same things. That's kind of brings people together often, but it doesn't create a deeper connection. That deeper connection comes more with time, with a longer time, and especially with shared purpose. Again, it's something we'll see in the movie Jerry Maguire, how there's the issue of loyalty when he eventually gets his new girlfriend, his new wife, actually. But then you also see they have a shared purpose that also brings them together. And it's kind of Jerry's waking up that just attraction, physical attraction, or even just sharing hobbies and being attracted to each other, it's not enough. It's not enough. You need something deeper. And again, shared purpose. This is what can make sports teams, for example, very powerful. That even though it's just a game, but when you've got, like, let's say 11 guys on a soccer team and they're playing together and practicing together and struggling together and winning together and losing together and, fighting and helping, against tough times and up and down and maybe over several years, this creates a strong connection, a very strong connection with these guys. And some of these guys will stay friends for a long, long time, maybe for their whole life. Another example, I'm watching a show with my mom when she's visiting here. It's about World War II. It's about a group of guys, it's a true story. It's based on a true story. But anyway, this is something kind of that's quite famous that they're called war buddies, war friends, but men who went to war together, who fought together, that they have some kind of special connection for their whole life. Right, forever, because they suffer so much together and they have this shared purpose. Sometimes the shared purpose is just survival, but it's so powerful, it's so strong, and it's shared that this forges them together. And so what we see with this idea of shared purpose is this idea. If you kind of think of we say forge. A forge is a fire where they would hit, metal. In the old days, they would make a sword, right, for fighting. And they would put it in the fire, and then they hit it with a hammer. Bang, 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 bang. And so the fire, the heat of the fire, and the pressure of the hammer hitting the sword, this would make the sword become harder and stronger. The heat and the hammering, the hitting. And this is kind of a general metaphor for life and for groups of people, that hard, tough times, and especially when they're shared, can do this with friendships, with marriages, with relationships. What happens is they break or they get stronger, right? Kind of this is the two things that tend to happen in life with these kind of relationships when you have this intense, difficult time that if it's shared, if you share it and you help each other, then that connection and love and trust or whatever can get stronger, stronger, stronger and become unbreakable. Or like we see in Jerry Maguire, the opposite happens, where something tough happens and it's not shared. Instead, one person's suffering and everybody else just leaves, right? So all the relationships break very fast. So it kind of shows, it's like, if it's a weak, if they're fake relationships, if they're weak, then they break. This happens in marriages. We see this when sometimes in marriages, many times in marriages, there's financial problems or money stress, or a child or children come. This creates more difficulty, more stress, right? More challenge. And some marriages break because of that and they get divorced. And it's a tragedy. It's terrible for the children. But on the other hand, many become much, much stronger because of this. And one of the important things about this family being a shared purpose and raising children is this is something that's for all of your life, forever. Like for even the war buddies, men who go to war together, well, the war ends and they all go home. They may see each other again. They always have a bond, always have a connection, but they're not, living with next to each other anymore. So it's a little bit lonely for these guys because they go home and nobody understands them. But family, on the other hand, is all of your life. It's your entire life. It's your children's entire life, and it continues generation after generation after generation. That's why traditionally these big, strong families were so important, because it was a shared purpose. Everybody shared that purpose together, and it continued on and on and on. For your whole life, you always had a feeling of shared purpose with your family. And then this passed to your children, and then they had it with their children, and it just went on and on and on. And it's why it's such a tragedy for now in our modern life, where so many families are being attacked and destroyed by the culture and the media and everything. It's a tragedy. It's why so many people feel lonely and like they have no purpose, they have no meaning in their life. This is why. And so the solution is for us to try to find this with other people. So this is simple. If you have a business and you have a team, a department, or if you're talking about your family, or you're talking about friends, it's not enough just to like each other. It's not enough to have good hobbies that you share. It's not enough to just chat and have a good time together. That's what Jerry Maguire had. That's kind of fake friendship. We could just call them acquaintances. They're not necessarily bad, but it's just not strong. So if you have a group or some relationships that you want to be stronger, I recommend that you find a shared purpose or more than one. So if you're married, children is the obvious one. Raising children together, there's no stronger purpose than that. If you have a group of friends, also though, instead of just hanging out and having fun and joking around, do projects together, do things, create something together. You could all do some kind of charity project together. You could decide to raise money for sick children, for example. And you could all work together as a team, as you and your friends, to do that. You can still hang out and have fun other times, but by doing some kind of meaningful project like that, it will bring you all together and make your friendship stronger. Or you could build something. You could build a house if one of your friends needs a house, right? People used to do this. They would help each other build houses, right? Out in the countryside. Everybody would help everybody else build a house. So you need a house, all your friends would come, your neighbors, and they would help you build your house. And then when they needed a house, well, of course, you would help them. Right? So that's another shared purpose, shared project together. It's not just hanging out, having fun. Hanging out, having fun is okay, but the shared purpose is what makes things stronger. If you're in a business and you're managing a department, you're managing a group of people, find or create a difficult, challenging project for them that will force them all to work together. And then the key thing is when you have that shared purpose, that very tough, difficult challenge maybe, you have to stay positive. You have to help each other, okay? You have to help each other. You can't let one person suffer alone. If one person suffers alone, then it's going to break everything. Everyone has to help. So if one person suffers, everyone else helps them. And then if someone else is suffering, everyone helps them. Or everyone suffers together for a while. This is how you do it. And this will, again, make everything stronger. It will make your relationship stronger. And this is based on virtue. This is based on purpose. It's much better than just how to win friends and influence people. How to win friends and influence people. These are nice techniques. It's okay for first meeting people, but for relationships that you want to be very strong for a long time, you need this deeper level of shared purpose, shared mission. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's go to our live questions and comments on YouTube. Just lots of people saying hi. I'll let you type in a few questions and comments. This is why, by the way, I was going to mention our challenge. I think this is one of the things that made our challenge fun and interesting, is that in a very small way, it's a small purpose. I understand that. But in kind of a small way, we all joined in doing the same project together, and then online, encouraging each other. So it doesn't matter if you did 1 hour a day or 12 hours a day. We were all doing it together. We were sharing this experience, this challenge of pushing ourselves and increasing our time learning English, for most of you, language. And that's great. I know that I enjoyed it. It made it more fun for me, knowing that you all were doing it at the same time and looking and seeing all the guys and the women who are doing this very high level, these huge numbers, and people doing less also. It's great. And seeing on our Gab group, seeing your, putting the, all the different things you were listening to and reading, really cool. And we're finishing that up. We have just a few more days. So I think next week, someone suggested on Gab, was it Slavika? Was it Carol? Lisa? I can't remember who did, but somebody suggested that we should celebrate. I think we will. We'll have an online party next week. Let's say December 2nd, next Monday. How about that? So the show we do on Monday, the live show, let's all celebrate the end of the challenge together, however you want to celebrate. I don't know. If you're a drinker, then drink a beer, drink a whiskey, drink a coffee, smoke a cigar, eat a cake, whatever. Okay, and we'll just come and we'll just share stories about the challenge and share our experiences and celebrate. Yay, we did it. Then we'll have a break for about a month and a half, and then we'll do another challenge that'll focus on speaking. But a little break is good. Julia says, I homeschool my children. I know it's my mission. Yes, but it's hard. Yeah, I won't say it's not. All people around me give their children to the government and their life becomes easy, but they lose their children day by day. Exactly, Julia. First of all, double thumbs up to you for homeschooling your children. And that's exactly right. This is another example. Okay, in the short term, it is extra work for you. Of course it is, right? You have to sit down and teach and coach your children instead of just putting them on a bus or, giving them to the government. So in the short term, is it more work? Is it more of a challenge? Of course it is. Yes. Just like if you're weak, well, going for a run or lifting weights, it's more of a challenge. Of course, it's harder than sitting on your butt watching TV. Okay. Short term. But again, long term, like she said, they lose their children day by day. Psychologically, they lose their children. Emotionally, their children change and change and change because they're being, getting that Brave New World propaganda every day. And the connection, the relationship between parents and the children gets worse and worse and worse day by day by day. You don't even realize it. You'll see it when they become teenagers, maybe. So in the long term, Julia is going to have much greater meaning and purpose and happiness, and her children also much more long term. But short term, it's more challenge. It's kind of it seems to be like a dharma law. right? A natural law, this kind of thing, because we can see this pattern in so many areas of life. Yeah, like here you go, Alexi, with an example of war. My uncle was involved in the Afghanistan war, and with those teammates in the war, he keeps connections already for 30 years. When you risk your life to save your teammates, it leads to the strongest connection. Indeed, indeed. And, I've read a few books from different true war stories from World War II especially, and it's the same thing, right? This is, of course, the highest level of challenge, one of them, which is risking your life, right? Life and death. And they're risking their life for each other. Of course, that's going to create a connection that will, and the level of trust that creates is super powerful. Super powerful. Now, we don't all need to join the army, okay? But it's just an example of how that incredible stress and difficulty and challenge, by sharing it together and helping each other instead of not running away, instead staying with each other and helping each other, it creates a super powerful connection, right? But we see what happened in Jerry Maguire is the opposite side. They all left him. None of them supported him. They didn't even care. They were laughing, even smiling and laughing when he got fired. Yeah, like Slavika, wonderful. My goal is a simple life, a strong family, 2 or 3 good friends, health, learning new interesting things for the rest of my life. And see, that's it. It doesn't have to be big, like I want to be a billionaire. I want to, build a super huge company. Those things, I think for most people, actually, that kind of giant goal like that, external goal, actually does not create happiness. People who are naturally going to become billionaires, for example, it's a very tiny percent who have a certain personality that it will enjoy that. Most people can't do it, and most people would not be happy doing it. Most of us, this is exactly what makes us happy. And we can look at human history. We know this is what makes people happy and gives meaning. These simple things, a strong family, a few good friends, real good friends, your health, lifelong learning, right? We can all do this. So Slavika, you've said pretty much the same ones that I have. These are pretty much mine also. My family, few good friends, health, I would say God, I would add that. But basically this, yes. Oh, thank you for the super chat from Enrique Riviero. Thank you very much. Says, AJ, you're my guru, my life change. God bless. Thank you so much, Enrique. Thank you. Appreciate it. Very nice. The super chats are very much appreciated. Thank you. Oh, speaking of, I have a couple questions. We'll give you guys. We'll stay on the topic, and then when we get off the topic, I have a couple questions. Yeah, great. Giovanni Varesi says, hi, Coach. There's my daughter who's distressed about going to school because she puts too much stock about what other people think about her. How am I able to teach her myself? I want to get her out of there. Okay, Giovanni, you just got to research homeschooling. There are many ways to do it. Okay, it's hard. It's a big topic. Let me just encourage you, though. There are many ways to do it, and they all work fine. Okay. You can actually, if you do homeschool, if you do you could, it's in English. I'm guessing you're probably Italian. You could do these searches in Italian, but you could, look up homeschool curriculum, homeschool program. There's some that are online. There's some you can buy. They send stuff to your house. So they do everything for you, and you are just the coach, and you just follow the program. That's like the most organized kind. You can do that. Or, on the other hand, you can do everything yourself. Like I'll be doing mostly everything myself, but I'm comfortable teaching. I've been a teacher a long time. So you can just, find books and read books and explore and do all that yourself. But if you just start researching, just start typing in, homeschooling programs, homeschool websites, homeschooling moms, homeschooling dads. Start typing, just doing searches and reading, maybe find a few books and read about it. There are many ways to do it, but the good news is, look, just do it. Just start. Okay, you can change later. Just choose one way. Okay, just pick something and try it. And if it's not working, if it has some weak points, it doesn't matter. Next year or 6 months later, you can change something here, change something there, make little changes. This math, I don't like this math program. I'll try something else. Okay, so don't worry. You will do a better job than the school. Even if you make a lot of mistakes, it doesn't matter. You will still be better than the school. Okay, so I just want to encourage you, do it. Do it. Interview, Paulika asking again, Steve Kaufman interview this coming Friday, right? This Friday, 11 a.m. Japan time. We will try again. So good luck, Giovanni. And Giovanni, if you have any other problems, connect with me on Gab, Giovanni, if you can. Gab.com, AJ Hogue. And if you have any problems, or worries about homeschooling, send me a message on Gab. I'll respond to you, and maybe others will also. So don't worry. You can get some support. You're not alone. Yeah, cool. Marcin says, speaking of, we're talking about, health. Marcin says, 4 weeks ago, I started preparing for the Prague Marathon in 2020. Nice. I listened to your podcast during my training. See? Perfect. Listening to English and training. Marathon. Awesome. Good. Good luck with your marathon. That's great. That would be a nice city to do a marathon, right? That'd be beautiful. Yeah, Priscilla says, unfortunately, fake relationships are more and more common in this modern world. Well, you know why? It's because we don't test them with purpose. We don't test them with difficulty and challenges, right? So like Jerry Maguire in the movie, he thought he had all these friends, and only when the friendships were tested by his actions and by him being fired and everything else that will happen, only then does he find out. And he actually does find out that he has a new friend that he makes, which we'll see in the next week. Rod, one of his clients, becomes his really good friend. A real friend that's with him during the hard times. And he's also supports Rod during the hard times. So they really build this trust and loyalty together. So, this is kind of the one of the great things about the movie. He loses all the fake friends, but maybe that's good. They were fake, so who cares? But what he does get is he makes a new real friend, like a lifelong, like a super strong friend that really cares about him and is really loyal to him and is really honest with him. And Jerry, of course, does the same. So and then of course the same thing happens with his marriage, his relationship, romantic. Yeah, like Celso Julio says, great points. In my sales seminar, I start my speech with the importance we have of purpose and mission in our sales career. Yes, thanks, Master. Exactly. And this is something you'll see with what I would call, good salesmen, because we've seen in Jerry Maguire. Well, we're seeing in Jerry Maguire. You're seeing the difference, right? Like all those guys. So if you guys missed Jerry Maguire, we're doing it. This is our movie club. We do it on Sundays, okay? But anyway, we saw that we had a lot of bad salesmen that were just lying, right? But you could see that Jerry was different, right? And that Jerry, remember, he wrote this mission statement. The thing that changed his life is he's saying that, he's a salesman basically, but he's saying we have to do it for the good of helping our clients, right? It's something, he's got a deeper purpose than just selling and marketing all the time. And we will see, eventually this will make him very strong and give him something very strong and special, but not immediately. Immediately, he gets a lot of pain, right? He got fired. Now he's losing. He lost all his clients almost. But again, long term, it's something powerful. Wow, you guys are typing fast suddenly. Gustavo says, I have a doubt about homeschooling. What about universities? Can you go to universities without an official record? Gustavo, I can't speak for every country, but in the United States, it's no problem. American universities, not every one, but most American universities, homeschooling is no problem. But of course, they do have to take the test, the SAT test. That's the entrance test. And they have to, just show that the easy way to do this in the American system, there's a test. It's called GED. GED. And it means, graduate equivalency diploma. It basically it equals a high school diploma. So people just take people who don't go to high school, they just take the GED test, and now this is the same as a high school certificate. We call it diploma, same as a high school diploma. So that's the easiest way to do it in the American system, is just take the GED test, which is not so hard, and then they have that, and of course everybody has to take the SAT in America, which is, again, the college entrance exam. And that's it. So it doesn't matter. Homeschool doesn't matter. It's not a problem. Now, I don't know other countries. I can't speak for every country, but for at least probably Canada's same. So I would think North America, no problem. Lucas Antonio Galindo, thank you very much. See you tomorrow. Giordano's asking about business here. I'm really into online marketing. I want to start by buying stocks to step up the amount of winning. Is a risk to consider? Yes. Big risks with stocks. Now, I can't give you advice about that because I mostly avoid stock investing myself because I'm not good at it. It's it's very, especially now. Right now, it's very risky and very challenging. Some people are making lots of money, but you can also lose lots of money. So unfortunately, I can't help you with stocks. You have to find someone who's actually an expert. Maybe check out Tony Robbins' book about money. That talks about stocks a bit. Oh, Hazim. Hi, Jay. Hazim says, I'm an electrical engineer and married. Now we're expecting a baby. Hey, that's fantastic. Good for you. Congratulations. Because of that, my wife makes a huge financial stress on me. Our relationship gets worse. Tell what to do. What is she doing? I don't know. You need to watch our book club, Your Money or Your Life. You got to simplify. You got to cut your expenses. Cut. There's no reason to be spending lots of money. Babies are not expensive. They just drink milk. That's all they do. Milk and diapers, a few clothes. So I don't, I don't really understand this actually. Because before I had babies, people would always say, oh, children, they're so expensive. Children are so expensive. They're not. I mean, maybe when they're teenagers, they're going to eat a lot of food, I guess. But, I mean, babies aren't expensive. They don't require much. Milk, clothes, diapers. None of it's expensive. So there's no reason to go out and go crazy spending money. In fact, you can still follow that program, Your Money or Your Life. Look on my YouTube channel. Look on my website, Effortless English Club. Look on the blog. You'll see, all the different parts. We're still doing it. So get that book, read it, Your Money or Your Life, and make your wife read it. Okay? So there's no reason to stress out having a baby. There's no reason. Financially, you don't need to increase your spending much. In fact, you should be able to cut your spending, really. You and your wife can spend a little less. You have to spend a little more for the baby, but you can spend a little less yourself, or you can spend a lot less yourself. So, yeah, don't use the baby as an excuse. Well, this is an interesting comment. Abdul Kudir said, hi, AJ. My teacher told me that I breathe incorrectly, while I talk. That's why my accent's not good. What do you offer me? What advice do you offer me? Okay, I can only guess. I don't know what your teacher's talking about, really. But I'm going to guess that your teacher's talking about your rhythm, meaning when you pause. Right, when you pause. Because, English, like all languages, not just English, but we're talking about English, so I'll talk about English. In English, we have natural pauses, right? We have natural phrases. So native speakers will naturally pause at certain spots, right? After certain words, after each phrase, right? So that we have natural phrases. If you pause at a different point in a sentence, it can sound very strange. There's actually a famous actor who I like, but he's famous for doing this. He's a Canadian actor. He's famous for pausing in strange places. And so it's kind of a joke because it sounds weird. So he will pause in different places than most people do, right? So he's pausing in strange places, and of course, and even he raises his voice in strange places to be dramatic, right? But it sounds very unnatural and weird. So I don't know what your teacher's saying exactly, but that's I'm guessing. You just have to listen to native speakers more, listen to more, Americans and British, etc., and just try to pause when they pause. Do the shadowing again. Shadowing's a nice technique for that, where you will learn to break the sentence in the right points. But don't get stressed about it, okay? Don't worry about it. It's nothing to worry about. But just do your best. Okay. Hi, Elena. Good to see you. Elena says I'm late. Good to see you, Elena. Okay. Okay, here's Tata has a question. I met a good person at university. At that time we chatted a lot, became very close. Now uni is over, we still keep in touch, but more seldom. Family, work, kids, though I wouldn't lose the link. Is it worth the fight for such a friendship, or should I let it go? I've had this experience too. So here's what I say, Tata. I find that it's worth fighting for it if this is an important friendship and you had this shared experience of university. That's another common one. People share that experience. But what I find with this kind, when you're kind of getting farther away, that this will work only if both of you make an effort, right? So if your friend also tries to, make an effort and contact you and reply to you, and you are trying, then yes, you can still have a nice friendship together. You don't talk as much, of course, because now your lives are different, but you can keep a friendship. It's possible. I have a few friends like this that are close, that I have a long history with them, and now I live in Japan and they live in California. But the important thing is, like, I call them and I text them and email them, and they also call me. They also text me. Another situation which does not work is when only you try. And this also, I have had this in my life where I want to keep a friendship, and so same situation, and I email them and I call them, I text them, but they never do. They never make any effort. They never do anything. It's always just me. It's always one way. They never call me. They never email me. They never message me. And after a while, that becomes you realize, it starts to feel strange, and you start to feel, why am I only doing this? Because relationships have to be both. So that's what I would say to you, Tata. If it's important to you, if the other person's also trying, yeah, keep doing it. Why not? But if you feel like it's only you, and they're not doing anything, then it's best, I think, to let it go. That's just my experience. Oh, the Cristiano says, it's terrible. What a terrible situation here. Cristiano Esposito says, I've got a problem with my son, is stuck at school. Anytime he doesn't listen, the teacher gets spanked. Ooh, they still do that in your country, huh? And yelled at by her. Should I sue the school? Well, it's sad they have no cameras. Take him out of the school. Homeschool him. That's what I would say. Suing, I don't know. I don't know where you are or the situation or the legal. You could ask a lawyer about that. But the main thing is take him out. Take him out. Get him away from that evil person. Yeah, like Salvika says, when my daughter was little, I was a full-time mom. That was the most beautiful part of my life. If you have kids, you spend as much time with them as possible. It's more valuable than money, a car, etc. I feel the same. We had, with our, twins, the first 6 months, honestly was tough. It was hard. Newborns, first children, and one of our children had a very serious medical problem. Still does, but he's doing better. But anyway, massive stress and very tough and no sleep, if you have kids. But lately, probably around 6 months, like everything became much easier. Now they're older. One of them's crawling around. The other one's getting more stronger. They're laughing. I love it. I love playing with them. They're so cute. They're so much fun. So if you're thinking about having children, do it. I recommend do it. Just survive the first 6 months. Okay. The first 6 months, maybe not much sleep. Maybe you're going to be really exhausted. Okay. Yes, that's true. But after that, it's really great. And, even during that, my wife handled it better. For my wife could handle the lack of sleep. She still seemed like she was okay. I was pretty exhausted, but anyway, it's wonderful. I agree with Slavik. It's wonderful. Spend as much time with them. That's the main reason I want to homeschool them. I mean, number one, I don't like schools, but the main reason is I don't want to send them away for 6 hours a day, 7 hours a day. I want to spend time with them. I want to be with them. And so does my wife. It's a short time. We only have them for 18 years in the home or maybe longer, but so we should enjoy. Yeah, well, see, this is Vladislav is bringing up the other side of things. In Russia, there's a bad statistic. Many couples love each other, marry, have a baby together. Seems to be a shared purpose, and it is. But then many get divorced. The kid lives with the mom. Why does it happen? Well, because, it turns out, you said they loved each other, but what happens is the stress of the baby, because it's stressful. Like I said, it's difficult. The first 6 months were hard. But it creates a stress, and that stress, if there's not something deep in the relationship, if it's just more on the surface, right, then the stress will break it. And this happens. It happens a lot. Because a lot of people, they get married, they're attracted to each other, they share the same interests, they have a great time together. It's all fun, it's all great, until life becomes really hard. And then they don't help each other, they don't support each other, and the relationship breaks. Then that's when you find out one person is really selfish, or both are selfish, or it's a shallow relationship, right? It's just like Jerry Maguire. He had all... Love you, man. Love you, man. Love you, man. He had perfect friendships. He had the great life, the perfect social life, until he wrote the mission statement, until he got fired. And then all the relationships broke. Then that's when he realized, oh my God, none of them are really my friends. And sadly, this happens in marriages. It happens a lot. Where, I love this person so much. Oh, everything's perfect. We're so happy. Oh, life's so great and fun. And then life becomes really hard. Maybe it's tough financial stress. Maybe it's a child or more than one child. And then sadly, it is sad, especially with the children. It's sad. That's why I think it's good. Vladislav, that for people who get married, that they should, before they have children, they should experience some kind of tough difficulty for a while together. Test that marriage first. Test it before children. My wife and I were married, 13 years before we had our babies. So, and when we first married, we had no money. And, we had a lot of stresses in our marriage in the first few years, especially the first couple, the first 4-5 years, a lot of stress. She's from Japan, I'm from America, trying to live in different places, different cultures, huge amount of stress that we went through, and difficulties and all of this. And the marriage stayed together and actually got stronger and stronger, little by little, got stronger and stronger and stronger, and better and better and better with time. So then after 10 years or something, 10, 12 years, having babies, we have this, extra difficulty, but our marriage is not breaking because it's already been tested quite a lot. But some people, they're attracted and, I love you, and there's all the wonderful excitement of that early time, and they get married, and then they have a baby very fast after that. They never have been tested, right? It's all been wonderful and love and everything, and suddenly a baby comes. It's the first time they're stressed, and many fail, many it breaks. So I recommend that even if you get married, if everything's great, you should create some kind of stress. Meaning create some difficult challenges for your marriage, whatever that is. You could go on a round-the-world trip together, for example. Traveling can be stressful, especially if you do like a low budget. Make it a low-budget trip and travel to some difficult places together, like India, I don't know, some place where it's tough. It's very different than your culture, and people will try to cheat you, and there will be all kinds of difficult things, and every day will not be easy, and you're going to be really tired. And do that together. Do it for a while, again and again and again, and then you'll see, right? Then hopefully your relationship will get stronger, or if it's going to break, it's better if it breaks before a child comes. That seems like maybe crazy relationship advice. It's not what you usually read in a book, but I believe that is the case. Yeah, and here's the other good thing though. Funda says, I'm divorced since 16 years, and my three children are the blessings from God, grown up. Exactly. And that is the thing. Even if you do get divorced, your children still are your, purpose, your central purpose and meaning. Yeah, like here's Ron Tron has a very nice vision here, a nice idea. I'm working hard to save money for my financial freedom. When I get to that point, I will be a gardener. Nice. And have free time to teach poor kids English and read books. Simple, wonderful, beautiful. Very nice. Now, here's a good question. N says, how do you think we can share a bigger purpose within our Effortless English group? That's an excellent question. It's something we should think about. I don't know. I like, the challenge was one way. We're kind of, doing challenges together always helps. That tends to bring people together. I've seen it even on our Gab group. People have mentioned they made some new friendships within our Effortless English family just by talking about their challenges and difficulties and things and what they're doing. So I think we'll continue to do these challenges. That's a good one. We'll have a party next week to celebrate the end of our challenge, our first big challenge, the listening and reading challenge. And we'll do another one, a speaking challenge. We'll start that sometime January, maybe end of January. Other than that, let's think about it. If you have suggestions, contact me on Gab. Let me know. Here's a very simple English question. Can we say, the coffee is too hot, it burns my tongue? Sure, sounds good. If there's another expression for burning one's tongue. No, the coffee's too hot, it burns my tongue. That's correct. Sounds good. Hey, Elena, congratulations to you. Elena says, I'm a full-time mom too. I enjoy staying home with my daughter and learning English. Now I'm pregnant with my second one. Yes! Yippee! Congratulations, Elena. Great. I hear one crying out there right now. I'm going to have to go help. Tapan says, today I finished Day of the Dead mini story. Excellent. Excellent. Very good. All right, I need to go. I hear a baby out there. My wife needs to go to bed. I need to help with the babies. Okay, great. I enjoyed the topic today. Let's come back and meet again tomorrow. So I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, lots of love to you. Contact me on Gab. I have a couple questions to discuss. I have one specific question, but I'll put it on Gab. So follow me on Gab, please. Gab.com, Gab.com. Follow me at AJ Hogue, my name, AJHOGE. All right, as always, join my VIP program, Commit Don't Quit at EffortlessEnglishClub.com, EffortlessEnglishClub.com. See you tomorrow.